Joe here finally. We are back. Yeah. All right, we're backstage here at the Chameleon Club, and we got Red. What's up?
Oh, part of red.
Yes.
A quarter of red, yeah.
A quarter?
Right.
This is a quarter?
It's the important part, right?
Okay. So you want to introduce yourself, tell them what you do.
I'm Anthony. I play guitar for Red.
Awesome. So you want to start the questions off?
Yeah. So you guys have been on tour for quite some time now. You produced 3 major label albums. And I've noticed a theme in most of your albums. Is that true of it? I mean, like, with Innocence and Instinct had a very strong theme of Romans 7, where Paul says the things I want to do are the things I'm not doing, and the things that I should be doing are the things that So is that true of your records?
Yeah, I would say so. I think that a lot of people ask if we're singing, that they're a Christian band or this or that, and I think it's a lot of people are misunderstanding a lot of what it is that we do. And as a band, I think Red is motivated by singing about our journey with God rather than singing about God specifically. So the things that happen with things we talk about in our music are inspired by our beliefs and our faith, but ultimately are about what has happened in our lives rather than God specifically. So it's like what God has done in our lives and what He's doing in our lives is what we sing about. So yeah, I think a lot of those themes come out in every record. Each record kind of takes on its own feel, but yeah, there's a very strong, undertone of all of that. Yeah.
And until we have
faces.
Until we have faces. Thank you. It's been out for almost a year now. Is there any plans for a new record?
Yeah, I mean, there's always, it's a process. So each record cycle is anywhere from 1.5 to 2 years for us. So we'll probably have another year or so touring on this record before we get back to the studios.
You've been on a lot of tours lately, like with Rock Allegiance, and now you're on this. Or is there any more tours planned right away?
Yeah, we've got one more in November, December. It's actually the West Coast leg of Winter Jam.
Yes. Are you going to be on Winter Jam East Coast again?
Not until 2013. We're already booked for 2013. So we're actually doing the fall of 2012 and then all of 2013. So we'll be there again. But we finish that and we go to Germany in December. And then we've got a couple shows near the end of the year. We always do like a New Year's Eve show or something. Every other year we've done that. But then we're done for a good month after that.
Time to yourself.
Yeah, definitely. We did a lot of touring here at the end of the year. So.
Yeah, you've been touring off the bat. So, what is the main goal as Red for a band? What is the message you guys want to portray?
I think that all bands are motivated in different ways. And I think Red's motivated to inspire people. We just want to, use our music as a tool to get people out there who are struggling with whatever they're struggling with to either open up about it, talk about it with other people that are in a similar situation or like-minded, and find a way for them to get out of their mess, out of their vice, so to speak. So I think it's an opportunity for us to make great music that's got a real positive message, and it's something that's very uplifting and is empowering people for the most part. And a lot of the stuff on the new record was meant to be that way. It was meant to be very anthemic for those that that need a good rock song as a soundtrack for their life. So that's a lot of the motivation definitely behind this record.
Very cool. And since you guys have been on tour so much, what's the dynamic like? I mean, especially when you're touring with your twin brother, is there any sibling rivalry that happens or anything?
No, that kind of went by the wayside a long time ago. It's we're 4 guys and 4 very mature guys, and we're all family men and have a lot of responsibilities, with the band and outside the band. So it's a love that we all share, and we're out here doing what we love to do. We take it very, very serious and have a lot of pride and passion for what we do, because it's important to a lot of people, and we find that to be a pretty big responsibility on our shoulders. So we make sure that we're out there, put ourselves out there, and giving, like I said, giving someone something to believe in, as far as a musical, like a message that can be wrapped in in our case is audio, but that for them to give them something that's ultimately going to change their life in a lot of ways is amazing. It's just a good feeling to get those stories and hear from those people that our music is gotten them into a better place.
What's the most inspirational story that you've heard about one of your songs?
I would have to say, I think it was in our first year of touring, we got a message from a family who had lost their sons. They were in an accident. They were in a car accident, and before that, they weren't really believers or anything. But I think weeks before the accident, prior to the accident, they went to a Red show, and they kind of fell in love with the music. They didn't really necessarily know what we were up there singing about, but got back and I guess started dissecting the music and found out what we were all about, and it's kind of shaped them in a way that was positive, kind of got them on the right track, and they were both killed, which was pretty wild for us to hear because the whole youth group showed up at the show we were doing. It was a festival, I think, called Rock the Light, and it was in Missouri, I believe. But yeah, the whole youth group came out to the show. We dedicated the song to them, and then we get to meet all of them and hang out and talk about how cool it was. I mean, at the kid's funeral, they said like 2,000 or 3,000 people showed up to these kids' funerals because it was that powerful of a story. So it's pretty cool to hear that. But I mean, there's so many different stories. So a lot of things. I mean, like I said, our music's pretty, and it just invokes so much. For people that are there's a lot of struggle out there now, especially nowadays. So we hear a lot of stuff, but that was definitely one of the ones that stuck out the most.
That's very cool. Aside from recording and being on tour and stuff, what do you guys do to cut loose? And I've seen a few videos on Facebook of you guys just going to the golf course or something.
Yeah. We try to get out of the bus as much as possible. And on days off, we usually find a location where we've got things to do. Like I said, we have family around the country, different parts of Texas and Pennsylvania, so we go visit them and we get out and just do normal things, normal civilian things that we don't normally get the opportunity to do. So yeah, we take full advantage of that when we do. We've just this last week had 2 days off in New York City, so we spent a lot of time roaming around, getting into whatever we get into in New York City. It was pretty fun. So yeah, we do a lot of stuff too.
Have you ever dealt with the freak out factor where like a pack of fans recognize you?
It's happened a few times. It's you're just you're caught off guard most every time. It's just it's kind of like, hey,
what's up?
Yeah, you don't really. Yeah, you just so when they start crying, that's when it gets awkward.
Oh wow, crying.
You've really had people crying.
Yeah. We had one guy throw up one time. Another guy passed out. I'm just kidding.
Okay. All right, so we don't want to keep you too long. So you got any last words for us? Any words of wisdom?
Oh man, I'm not the guy to ask about wisdom. None of them could think any of us are. I think we make that very clear to people that we just. I think a long time ago, all of us kind of figured out what it is we're supposed to do and who we are as individuals and believers, and I guess our main message is here we are, 4 guys that are completely vulnerable up on stage and putting our hearts out there for other people, to share our lives with other people and hope that it will help them out in any way. And even if it's strictly because they love rock music, it's that's important to us too. It's like, because music is ultimately a release and it's a place to escape to, and so they get people listen to music and escape that way, or they escape into the lyrics, they escape more into the the thought behind the songs. And any of those things are just important to us. So we try to make sure people know that we don't have it all figured out, and we're in no way Rembrandts when it comes to how to lead people ultimately to some divine spirit or divine whatever. It's just we're just the vessels, more or less. So
that's awesome. That's a great message. Awesome. Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure. So we'll see you soon.